And a big good evening. Welcome to Raconteurs News. This Monday evening, it's the 19th of March, and the beast from the east has hit upon us yet again. So it's been a fucking freezing day, and do you know what? My boiler went yesterday. Our boiler, so we were without heating. We've got this emergency cover thing where they'll come out and sort it out for you, but got that many people's boilers going tits up that they couldn't get out until today. So we spent a very, very cold night last night, huddled between on the settee under a duvet, which was nice and cosy and that, but you know, you stuck your nose out and it were absolutely freezing. It was just a little bit cold, a little bit. Horrible. Anyway, I hope your weekend went okay. Mine went okay on Saturday. It pains me to say it again, but thanks for the 3 points there, Shitty Leeds, who's in the... who says his boiler went today. Fucking hell, it's going all over the place. I think we might be being targeted by the boiler police who are trying to stop us. So big thank you for the 3 points, Shitty Leeds. It's just a game, I know, but we needed them more than you did. So thank you for those, and that's it. I won't mention them again. So yes. His boiler's gone as well, so Super Leeds... Well, we'll call him Super Leeds, because I don't think that's his real name. We'll call him Super Leeds. And he also mentions in the chat room as well, I don't know if anybody saw this, I've been thinking about this a lot more today. But on the weekend, my wife and I went to Frankie and Benny's, which is not far from us, just called in for some lunch. Nothing major, just a little bit of lunch, and as drinks were brought to us by what can only be described as a bloke dressed up as a woman with a woman's wig on, some women's glasses, a skirt, legs akimbo. It was really, really odd. Now, I got to thinking about that today. It was literally like, if anyone's watched Benidorm and they know Leslie, who Leslie is, it was like being served by her, only a younger version, obviously. And it went through my mind, how did this guy turn up, get a job there, and then suddenly rock up one day as a woman? Or did he go to the interview dressed as a woman? Or did he? Is he having a bet? Has he lost a bet? You know, and he's got to. And so many things went through my head. And what happens in the interview process? You know, and it's the elephant in the room, isn't it? And I just want to know. There were so many questions going through my head. I just wanted to know. I wanted to know. First of all, I wanted to know why. Secondly, I wanted to know how people reacted to him, because obviously he's got quite a public job, and whether he gets any grief from anyone or whether it's just just me being nosy, I suppose. I wonder if anybody's nosy with him, or it's just weird. It was just a weird dynamic, and I'm just sort of glad it's over. I don't think I'll be popping back just in case next time I get served by somebody who's, well, I don't know, whatever. Just a weird situation. I didn't feel comfortable. I'm being honest with you. I didn't feel comfortable in that situation. So my apologies to him if he was offended by anything. I don't think I gave any. Don't think I made my uncomfortableness leads. Sorry, I didn't. Leads have just put something in the chat box. That's why I've put that. So I don't know whether I just felt uncomfortable. I'm just being honest. I didn't know how to react in that situation, and just glad that we only had one real interaction with him when he brought us drinks over. So that's what happened to me this weekend. Wednesday got 3 points. Said I wouldn't mention it again. I do apologise. And also we've lost Stephen Hawking. Someone switched him off. Oh my God, what's going on? The man Right, the great man. We were just discussing this beforehand, but this man was apparently a great man. But as we were saying, you don't know what he was saying that, do you? It was just a box. Somebody might have been feeding him stuff. I don't know. I'll always remember him as a man who really, really enjoyed showing his bottom teeth to people. So rest in peace, Mr. Hawking, and I hope you're fully functioning in the afterlife, if there is one, and all your illnesses have gone away, and you can run, jump, and live in the afterlife. So anyway, let's get back to tonight. This evening I am joined by one of my erstwhile partners. It's Paul Webster. He's joining us. Webby, how you doing, mate?
I'm good, Jason. I'm a very good weekend. Had a good day today, so all's well.
Excellent. Well, good for you, mate. Good for you. It's we were talking about it. What's your thing on Stephen Hawking? What's your gut instinct tell you that he's lived to 70? He lived 50 years past his life expectancy, and he was dead clever. What's your? It probably were when he was Stephen Hawking, the original version. But what's your take on it?
Me and our guest for tonight have just been talking about that. With, obviously when you look back through his history, as Lindsay's just said, that you look back through his history, he was this very clever man, but this illness that he had, it's not many people live to that kind of age, and there are discrepancies, you could say, from photographs. But it's something that I don't think we're ever going to find out, at this stage. We were talking about it last night. There's a lot of these so-called discrepancies that you can go through throughout decades, and you can say, oh, well, he doesn't look the same there, and she looks different on that, and he looks like a she, really, and she looks like... it's all conjecture, but we can get lost within it all, but it's certainly a talking point.
Yeah. Okay. Speaking of our guest, since you've introduced her to Raconteurs News, I think it's probably best that you introduce her this evening.
Hello.
Hello. Oh shoot! Hang on. Sorry. My mistake. I just turned the Skype mic off for some unknown reason. I'm just saying, since you're the person that's introduced tonight's guest to Raconteurs News, and you know her very well, why don't you do the introduction? Introduce our guest for this evening.
Well, this is my friend, one of my best friends for about best part of 30 years. Would you say?
I know, you're a lucky bastard.
I know, I am a lucky bastard.
Is that the camera there?
That's the camera there, but you don't have to look into it because you're not on here. She won't let me go on camera because she's not got makeup on, apparently.
I'm poorly, I've not put my makeup on. I can't be bothered with the harassment.
So, exactly. So I'm going to hand it over to Lindsay now, and she can describe a bit about what she's about and what she's done so far.
All right, then I'm Lindsay, 41-year-old nan, mother, gin drinker, writer, author, stand-up comedian, lunatic, spinster. I could go on, but you get the gist. Hello?
Oh, brilliant.
I thought you'd gone off again then, Jason.
I thought we were going to get a little bit more, a little bit more than that. What sort of stand-up comedy do you do, and where do you do that?
All over the UK, mainly Northwest. What sort of stand-up comedy do I do? It's a bit of everything, really. One-liners, observational, talking about my life, mainly. The kids and ex-boyfriends. Anyone who I can take the piss out of and feel good about it.
And swear a lot.
Yeah, it depends on the gig, yeah.
We've got Shitty Leeds has put into the chat room. He does this with everybody. He says, would she like to marry someone from Leeds? And he says he likes gin too.
Yes, big gin fan, man. New show, it's called Gin and Comic. You should come Shitty Leeds when I do the Yorkshire leg of the tour. I've come to see it. and I talk about gin a lot, and I do take a bottle of Gordon's on stage. So I'm trying to get Gordon's gin to sponsor me.
Have you wrote to them yet? Have you got anything?
It's a piss take letter what I read out on the stage.
I think you should do it.
We are made for each other.
She's just reading Shitty Leeds' comments in the chat room.
We are made for each other. Go show us a picture then, Shitty Leeds, because your name's not sounding very promising.
Yeah, but don't you only get pictures of penises if you ask
Yeah,
for
send us a dick pic, because that's what I usually get. I've got so many dick pics. I could cover my bedroom ceiling in them.
Not again.
Like a porno version of the Sistine Chapel. I won't do it, but it'd offend me Catholic mother.
Well, it's nice to know that we've gone highbrow quite early on in the interview.
You can't say good-looking Shitty Leeds without backing it up.
I think we should just let these two get a room if it carries on like this, Jason.
I think when I said spinster before, I actually didn't mean to say slag. It just does depend.
On what? How many drinks?
Yeah, how many gins have been bought?
There you go, Shitty Leeds. Gin's your way.
The gin is the inn, as they say.
Gin is the
Gin and a 10-inch chicken and pineapple pizza.
Oh dear. No.
So what age did you get to when you thought stand-up comedy might be for you?
Well, I've always loved comedy, as you know. Always loved to laugh ridiculous things. So in about 2010, I was doing a master's degree at Salford University in script writing because I wanted to write comedy and sitcom type material. And it was whilst on that course, I met another stand-up who just ventured onto the circuit. So I started doing the open mics and stuff with him quite a lot. Realised I was pretty good at it. Just done it ever since. That's it, basically. I'm semi-pro at the minute, hoping to go pro at some point, but we'll see.
What about your writing? When did you write your first book? When did you start writing?
My first book was originally started in 2009. Put it on the back burner for a while, got lazy. Then after a few more dating disasters and relationship cockles, I thought, okay, I'll just get it finished. Yeah. And I finished it, and it was released in 2013. So this year I'm writing the second follow-up.
And what kind of feedback have you got from it?
Quite good. My publisher's a tosser. They whip all my royalties and don't give me the right statistics for how many it's selling. They said it's not sold in the US, but I know for a fact it has because I've spoke to people on the page who bought it. So the second book, I'm going to actually self-publish it so I can keep control of everything, the prices, the statistics, and keep the money as well. And then obviously the third one, if they buy all three, then I could make quite a bit of money out of it, hopefully.
Also.
Since it's a trilogy, it's more like a threesome.
Is it a Mr. Grey type thing?
No, it's better than that. Crock of shite.
Yeah, if you keep using words like threesome, Super Leeds is going to start going mad in the chat room.
Yeah, it doesn't sound very. I am single, by the way. It doesn't sound. It's not really pornographic like 50 Shades. I mean, to me, 50 Shades is just a rapist. He's just a controlling wanker and a rapist. I'd absolutely knock the shit out of someone who tried to put it on me like that. This is just taking the piss out of dating, basically, in different types of dating. Like, each chapter's dedicated to a different type of knob. And I don't mean that in the physical sense. I just mean, like, one of the chapters is called The Mummy's Boy, one's called The Online Gaming Addict, one's called The Toy Boy, so each chapter's different.
Some of these seem to have personal experience.
Yeah, it's semi-autobiographical. The second one's more fictional.
More semi by the sound of it.
But yeah, I've had a few experiences. I've had a recent one. So what I'm.
That you've just put into a new.
A new stand-up routine. Yeah, I can't wait to get it on social media. It's gonna die.
Apparently, this is the best way to get revenge. To stand in front of a large audience and take the piss out of who you get revenge on.
You don't name them, I would never do that. But the situation, instead of like being a bitch, you say, oh, I'm going to slash your tyres, or I'm going to put your windows through, or I'm going to shag your brother. You know, the best thing to do is I do it through comedy. So if I'm being wronged in any way, I turn it into humour. And when I make people laugh out of that bad situation, I get a bit of a buzz. Yeah, I get a bit of a buzz out of it. It's the best way. There's no need for violence and stuff. Not anymore. I've matured. Stopped beating men up years ago.
It's about 20 years. Yeah. Now, isn't it? About 20 years. I think it was motherhood that stopped it.
Yeah.
You couldn't realise that you could batter a fella and hold the baby at the same time.
Yeah. Beat a few blokes up in my time. They deserved it though, by the way. I didn't just go around randomly battering men. One was my brother.
Yeah. Shitty Leeds might want battering by the look of it.
Yeah, but I think Shitty Leeds, he's gone quiet. I think I've scared him off.
I think he's shy.
I think I've scared him. I don't beat men up anymore.
Unless you ask her to.
Unless that's your bag. Oh dear. Sounds so. Anyway, it looks like we've become Cupid's raconteurs news because we seem to get a marriage proposal every week from Leeds. Yeah. You're into some other stuff as well, aren't you? You're into some other interesting stuff you've done that we were talking about before. Nibiru, can you tell me, because I'm not somebody who's really I've not really studied it. Can you tell me what Nibiru is and why you firmly believe that it's what it's cracked up to be?
I'm no Stephen Hawking, but I am fascinated with the universe anyway, and the solar system and the planets, and I love following NASA's latest discoveries, like when they sent the camera to Saturn and the pictures come back. I couldn't wait to get on film work just to have a look at them. It really, really fascinates the shit out of me. But Nibiru I kind of come across through YouTube, and I know that NASA, they do admit there's a ninth planet beyond us, just after the Kuiper Belt past Pluto and our solar system. But they were calling it Planet 9, but then it's been called Planet X. And Nibiru was what the Mayans believed, what they named it. And then obviously it was a 2012 fiasco and stuff like that. And there's a guy called David Mead who wrote a book about the coming of Planet X or something like that, who believed it was going to happen in 2012. But it didn't necessarily mean it was going to be doomsday in 2012. That was apparently when it arrived into our solar system. So there's different theories, and I keep watching videos, but there are quite a few people on YouTube, people all over the world are sending in videos and pictures. So I believe maybe at the minute it's behind the sun somewhere, but people have sent pictures and you can see.
I have actually seen.
Yeah, and the sky is changing colour. It's quite red at night. I have become a sky watcher.
There's a lot of geoengineering going on.
Yeah.
Have you ever heard of the...
Well, the weather patterns now in the Nibiru, the closer it gets, I mean, some people say it's going to smash into it. I don't believe that, because if the way it goes around the solar system, apparently, it's every 3,600 years. So if you want to be biblical about it, the last time it so-called passed through was Noah's flood. Mm-hmm. So if it passed through, then it obviously did smash into the earth then. It's just passing through, but it's got such a strong magnetic field, and it's going to bring chaos with it from the Kuiper Belt, like asteroids and stuff like that. They reckon that it could flip our poles. It could cause a pole shift.
Yeah, I've seen all.
And it is causing a lot of, since it's getting closer, if it is apparently getting closer, the weather patterns are getting worse. There's more volcanoes on alert and erupting. There's more earthquakes in weird places. What are happening? So it is making me believe it a little bit more. And there are a lot of stuff you can watch on YouTube. Some of them are also shite. But some of them are really interesting for watching. The pictures, what people are sending in, I'm just like, I really want to get a telescope and start having a look at myself. But there was one thing on Google Earth. If you go, you can find out the coordinations and stuff. If you go, it's somewhere near Jupiter, and there's a black box over it, so like NASA.
I've seen it.
Blocked it out, sort of thing. So I found that really interesting as well. So it's either near Jupiter or it's behind the sun. That's what I'm kind of picking up on. But I don't put it on my Facebook and stuff because I use it for comedy because people will just think I'm an absolute nut job.
Yeah.
I am crazy, but I'm not a nut job. And I don't want to get into debates with idiots and stuff like that because some people are. But it's possible, you know, the universe is that big. How can they say it's not possible that this rogue planet's going to pass through our system if it's not happened for 3,600 years? So I believe it is, and like the movies and stuff, the government would never ever release that type of information until it's too late. There'd be chaos, wouldn't there? There'd be bloody, the economy would collapse, it'd be looting, it'd be like the Purge. I mean,
Well,
if they did announce it,
the economy's collapsing and being looted anyway.
I know, but if they did announce it, I think I'd be eating up men. with a baseball bat.
There's definitely, you're right with all the stuff that's going on around the world. I mean, if you talk about being biblical, if you read the Book of Revelations now, everybody has got a different interpretation when they read that. But that passage is telling us what we're actually living through now. There's famine, there's wars, there's rumours of wars. There's all kinds. Did you see the alignment in September? Yeah.
There's a constellation of Virgo, where the planets lined up, and the moon was at her feet.
Yeah.
And the sun at her head. Yeah. It exactly correlates with that passage. And I'm not religious. But when I saw that, an explanation of it, and I read it, that freaked me out a little bit. I thought that's actually really freaky.
There's a lot of synchronicities going on at the minute. There's information coming to people, and people are joining dots. I mean, the thing for me, as soon as you say NASA, it makes me step back and be sceptical because these are some of the biggest fucking liars.
Oh yeah, no, they'll know all about it, but they would never say anything.
The other debate is if that isn't particularly real, and they're promoting it, and all these pictures that we've seen. Have you ever heard of anything called Project Bluebeam?
No.
Well, the geoengineering, what they're doing, you've seen where they can project things into the sky and they don't.
I've watched Geostorm with Gerard Butler.
Yeah. I asked her had she ever studied anything on geoengineering, and she said, yeah, I've watched Geostorm.
Gerard Butler. How can you not watch it? How can you not watch it?
This is what I'm up against, Jason. I'm trying to enlighten people, and this is what I'm up against. But yeah, the NASA stuff, that makes me sceptical straight away.
Yeah, I know NASA are full of shit, and they hide a lot of things, but for me, you can't take away what they have done as well. It fascinates me. Like, there's a brilliant video on YouTube where they got the rover to Mars, and how it kind of separates. It took like 7 months to get to Mars.
I've heard all the stories.
It's amazing. It amazes me. It really does. When I talk to other people about it, it's like, how can you not be interested that there's other planets out there what possibly have life on? I mean, I could go down the UFO road as well. I believe in all that.
If you'd have been here, if Andy had been here, that's what you've been talking about for 2 hours.
UFOs and stuff. Yeah. I've seen loads of weird things in the sky coming back from gigs at night, like 1 in the morning and stuff like that, and it's just the sky's really clear.
How many bottles of gin is that?
Not when I'm driving. I'm not that crazy. I wait till I get home. But yeah, I've seen some really weird things in the sky. What are UFOs? I can't actually explain what they are. They're not planes because they're covered. Sort of thing.
I've never experienced it.
I've seen quite a few things. It's always in like the open field. Like down Snake Path one time I saw something.
No, I'm not.
Not close, like a flying saucer, like really in the distance, but that's not moving.
Yeah,
and it wasn't a star. And it might be hovering. It might be like moving a little tiny bit, which stars don't move. But it might be moving like a little tiny bit, but not going out of sight like a plane would.
Yeah.
And I've always thought, what the fuck is that?
Well,
it could be a space station or anything at the time, I don't know, but I always look at the skies.
Andy interviewed the guy from, was it Rendlesham Forest or something? What was it called?
Yeah.
Jason?
Yeah.
Where he was part of the US Army or something over here, wasn't it? And they experienced and documented a craft that they witnessed. And Andy interviewed him on here.
Right.
So it is very interesting.
Yeah, I believe that Roswell and stuff like that happened. And
it's interesting to look back at all of it because there's so many the stories that we have now. Things like 9/11 was one of the major incidents for me when I started talking to that. I couldn't believe
that people were
actually. I couldn't believe that people were actually falling for what that narrative was, and it was the same with 7/7. And as I've looked back through other definite false flags, and you can go all the way back to the First World War, where documented, they've created an incident and blamed somebody and gone and done it. And they've done it throughout history. So where would you... I know you're into all the conspiracy and that. What about things like JFK and stuff like that? Do you...
I've not really read much about JFK, but obviously I do believe he was shot.
Well, obviously.
But no, I'm saying I think it was just terrorism. But I don't know about JFK that much. Like Diana, I think was planned.
Everybody seems to say that about Diana.
I think Diana was definitely planned by royals.
Yeah.
It's just too weird coincidence, you know.
Well, I don't
They're going at some speed, so and I don't think it was a paparazzi.
Well, there's a guy called Chris Everard who did a good investigation into Princess Diana. He took a taxi cab at rush hour traffic about 20 past 4, and it took him less than 20 minutes in rush hour traffic to get to the hospital where she was pronounced dead. And it took anything from 40 minutes to 2.5 hours. So what was going on? There's something not right. There's rumours that she was alive in the car when they got to her, and then they made sure that she wasn't alive as well.
I've heard that, yeah.
But these are great talking points that seem to hide much bigger things. What have you managed to see anything about the Russian spy stuff? And
I've not really followed because when I said I had my show last week, I didn't switch the news on.
Yeah.
It's only this week I've kind of
starting to catch up
with the free school meals, taking away the free school meals and stuff. Because I do follow politics normally, but when I'm busy and I've got stuff on, I kind of switch the TV off and I don't because I have to focus on one thing. But yeah, I mean. As far as like the free school, I mean, I do believe government as well. They're especially the Tories, like depopulation.
Yeah.
You know, I do believe they probably put shit in our water on purpose because they want people to die. They're trying to get rid of NHS because they're trying to.
A mutual mate of ours.
But it's just they're no better than Hitler. They want a middle class society, don't they? And they want to get rid of everybody else.
I think actually, I think the middle class is all poor now. I think the middle class has been attacked more than anything because the middle class used to be the buffer between the rich and the poor. Middle class would pay all the taxes and be a barrier from the poor to the rich.
Yeah.
But we've got a mutual friend who works for water, and he actually makes the housing to administer fluoride. Now, fluoride is hydrofluorosilicic acid. A pin drop of this will burn straight through metal.
Well, I have my special alkaline water ionizer attached to the taps. It takes all that shit out.
Well, we don't have it here. We don't have it in the northwest. There's no fluoride in the northwest. So yeah, I've tested my water here, but he was fitting it in Nottingham, and he fitted the housing, and that was like they say like something like 0.25 fluoride in a basic term is rat poison. You know, if somebody's babysitting your kids and said, "Oh, giving your kids a bit of rat poison for tea, wash the mashed potatoes down," you go mad. Well, the government say that, and we contacted United Utilities years ago by email, and there was a pseudonym used called Dr. Robert Brown, and they wrote back to us and said it isn't United Utilities' policy to administer fluoride into the water supply. However, if the Strategic Health Organisation stipulate we do so, we have a legal obligation. So they're legally obliged to put poison in our water supply.
It's just like aspartame and things like that, though, isn't it? That shouldn't be in our food. To put all sorts of shit in E-numbers and stuff like that. It's but they do it on purpose, obviously. They want people to die, and that's
you found. I mean, again, somebody mutually we know, he would have been diagnosed with ADHD when he was a kid. And I don't believe in ADHD. It was naughty boys or kids with issues, you know.
Well, my son's ADHD, you know, as you know.
Yeah, but is that through chemical
No,
stuff?
It's through his dad. His dad was a cocaine addict, and cocaine.
So it would be chemical.
His dad was a cocaine addict. He was born 3 months early.
So he was
on life support, so he starved of oxygen, and then he had a brain hemorrhage. So I genuinely believe that's the cause. He had brain hemorrhage, so. It was always hard work as a baby. It wasn't like he turned into a naughty child.
Yeah.
But the other person who I think I know who you mean, he was just born a cunt. So I don't know. Shitty Leeds gone.
Oh, he's in the other chat room. Have you got anything to ask Lynn's Jason.
I've just been looking at the checking on the Facebook feed and everything, and it's all fucking pixelated and everything. So I'm a bit.
Facebook's gone.
Yeah.
We always have trouble with Facebook.
Yeah, I'm going to have to get a new. I don't know if it's a webcam or if it's just them fucking it up. I don't know. I couldn't tell you. But oh fuck. No, so I've not really been paying much attention. I've just been looking and trying to sort out the Facebook feed. If you're watching it on Facebook, I do apologise. It's terrible. I've got a decent webcam. I paid good money for it, so it shouldn't be that wank. So Nibiru, whatever it's called. Do you incorporate that into your act? Anything about that, or do you sort of stick away from that? Is your act pretty mainstream?
Yeah, it's quite mainstream. No, I don't talk about stuff like that on set because you've got to be universal with comedy. You've got to try and write about topics what everyone will understand. You start talking about rogue planets and stuff like that, they're going to switch off, to be honest.
Rogue planet.
It's a rogue planet.
She wants to answer another question, Shitty Leeds.
Yeah, Shitty Leeds, I'm just going through your stuff now. Sorry, can you hear me now? She needs to be near the microphone. What team does she support? I actually give up on football when Steven Gerrard left, so that might give you an idea of what team I supported. But, you know, I would rather Liverpool win anything than any other team. Have you? Yes, John. Considering it. Don't rush the gal. What's Webber's take on Hillsborough? Disgusting. Hillsborough.
Yeah.
And I don't think there's any conspiracies behind it, only the wankers police force who didn't do the job.
Well, interestingly, Lindsay, we've interviewed the former intelligence analyst for South Yorkshire Police about Hillsborough. Now, he had a lot of good information, and it might be worth having a listen back to that. I think it were a couple of years ago. The guy's name's Tony Farrell. If you're a Liverpool fan as well, it makes for interesting reading when some of the dots are put together. And
is that involving where they had a crush at Spurs in the same season, and is it that conspiracy stuff?
Yeah, they had one at Hillsborough, didn't they? When Spurs in semi-final a couple of years earlier.
Yeah, they did. Yeah.
And also a year earlier, the same fixture had been played at Hillsborough, the semi-final between Nottingham Forest and Liverpool, and it went off without a hitch. It was well policed, it was well regulated, and so what they did is they took the guy from off who'd been in charge that day. He came off of charge. I think something happened. I think they set him up with something. And something happened, and he ended up either getting sacked or being disciplined and demoted. And then they put David Duckenfield in charge, and David Duckenfield had no experience with football at all. In fact, he didn't even know Nottingham Forest's name. I think he called him Nottinghamshire or something daft in one at press conferences. That's how disconnected he were from football, and hence the crap. The tragedy that happened because essentially he wasn't up to the job into doing the job. So
there's a point to having not being up to the job, but to try and cover it up and shift the blame like they did, and you see that it went right into the top levels, and you could see where the Masons' hands were being touching as well. That was what was so blatantly obvious for me about Hillsborough. I mean, we can talk about there is documentation that Tony had presented where they already had contracts lined up ready for people to make all-season stadiums. This was already being tendered, and you've got to ask the questions. And again, I reiterate again. Every time that I want to ask a question, if I'm told to shut up and be quiet or it's illegal, there's something not right.
Yeah, the element of the element of this being bad management, mismanagement, and what have you. It makes sense up to a point, but it seems that in all areas there were incompetence. There were not people officers changing the notebooks, or having the notebooks taken off them, and then they were being changed. And there were officers who, when they saw their statements, that's not actually what they'd said, and they'd not signed it. So, I can't understand. I'm just glad it's come out. I'm glad it's come out because it's something that affected my club as well, and obviously not in the same way, but it has affected our club over the years, and there's been a certain stigma attached to us, and there are conspiracy theories that's why, because when we got relegated out at Premier League, a couple of years, I think it was the following year, we got relegated out at Premier League. With the highest number of points that's ever been, and there was like conspiracy theories that that people didn't want to come to Hillsborough. Teams didn't want to come to Hillsborough, and they wanted us out of division. But these are all idle chit chat. But once you find out that the police were in it as deep as they were in it, then all that sort of seems to fall away. It just seems incredible that many people's lives was secondary to these fucking dickheads keeping the jobs and the pensions and the fucking liberty. That for me, that's what it all boils down to. But there are things that you can put together, strings. If you listen to the interview I did with Tony Farrell, there's lots and lots of different strings that are pulled together, like Bert Millerchip, who was chairman of the FA, who had a plastics company who manufactured the plastic seats for which were eventually used when all-seater stadia became compulsory. There's all sorts of these little different things where people have profited, and it's an absolute disgrace, and it's when. I had an argument with a copper, famously in kitchen. Well, not famously, but famously for me.
Famously in the kitchen.
Yes, famously in the kitchen. Yes, yeah, famous in my head. But I had a discussion with a copper, and I said, "You're all bent."
Jason, sorry for interrupting, but Bingo in the chat room has said that the volume's on the low side.
The volume's on the
low side.
It must be, because if they can't hear my gob, there's something wrong.
Right, let's see if we can do that. Right, so hopefully that'll be a little bit better. I had an argument with this copper, and I brought up Hillsborough. I said, "You're all bent. You're all at it." He says, "I says, what about Hillsborough?" It's just, he says, he said that was 26 years ago. I said, 26 years ago? It was only fucking last September that you actually admitted that you'd done something fucking wrong. So exactly. You were lying for that whole time. The whole lot of them were lying for the whole time. And then when it finally fucking comes out, because it's forced out, let's face it, that's what happened. It was forced out. And that, for me, is like a great big tick to the fucking people of Liverpool who just did not let this fucking go. They would not let it go. They wouldn't be fobbed off. They carried on. And that's the sort of fucking people we need all around the fucking country.
So, don't remember that it's not just the police. It was the Sun newspaper as well. He played a big part in the lies.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, the Sun newspaper. I mean, you get shot walking down Liverpool.
They're still sold under the counter in Liverpool in a lot of newsagents. The Sun, you have to actually physically ask for the Sun newspaper.
I don't think many do.
Not many do. No, not many brave ones do. But John Hulls just wrote in the chat room that down south the only narrative that they received was blame the fans. The fans were drunk, out of control, nothing else was explained. Back in the day, that it was quite easy to hide all that information, but I think the Liverpool people and the families and the people who supported them to get this through to some kind of completion anyway, because I think one thing is admitting it, but now the real work starts where they've got to try and deconstruct everything for blame, and the people who are to blame more than likely long gone for what anybody would consider a decent kind of punishment, if that's the right way to phrase it.
I think it's the truth, what the families wanted more than anything.
That's what everybody,
yeah,
wanted.
They've got it finally. Which a lot of that's thanks to Andy Burnham, to be honest. I'm not a massive fan of Burnham, but
I'm not a massive fan of Burnham.
I'm not, but regarding the Hillsborough, he put a lot of work into it, and he was a pivotal role in getting that.
He got the mayorship out of it, all ends.
Well, I'm glad I got him out of the league.
Yeah, he did get out of the league. There's an empty shop there you could have had for your
Andy
for the Chelsea Andy Bastard shop you could have
I
had.
think I should bet Labour MP for there. I think I'd be great.
There's Geeta gone for it.
I'd be the only MP in the Houses of Parliament who swore.
No, you
Shut
can't.
the fuck up, mate. Fucking hag.
I reckon that'd be a refreshing change.
It would be.
It would.
So proper, honest speaker.
If we did
Well,
that
that's what
anyway,
we
No political jargon. Just straight down the line.
What do you say, Jason?
I was just saying, if we did that anyway, if we...
No, I'm not a blonde.
Get rid of all that fucking bollocks, because you're not allowed to call each other liars, even though they're blatantly fucking lying in front of you. You're not allowed to do it. It just can't be done. They've got parliamentary privilege. What fucking hell that means? It
means they can tell lies legally. You can't call them a liar.
Exactly.
Legally, they can stretch the truth. They'll put it. They never say you're a liar. They have to say, I put it to you that I don't think you're telling the truth or the whole truth. You can't. It's time that we dispense with all this bollocks. I'm a big advocate for people growing up and taking some responsibility for the situation that we're all in, instead of keep relying on. A lot of people are pointing to Jeremy Corbyn. People who I've spoken to today, local people for me, and they think that he's the last best chance. For me, it would at least give us some breathing room, because at the moment the agenda that these bastards are pushing is on overdrive.
I am a Corbyn fan.
So
I love Jeremy Corbyn. He is our best chance.
So at the very least, I would agree with people who support Corbyn that he would give us at least give us a gap to actually start filling, because people just need to understand that they can take this power for themselves and not keep relying on others. Every time we've relied on people, they've always let us down. And voting in politics has got us into this situation, and doing the same thing isn't going to fix it. Something's got to change in it somewhere.
Put pictures on there.
No. What do you mean? What pictures do you want on
He was
there?
asking us a blonde.
No, Shitty Lee, she's not a blonde, no.
The brunette bombshell.
With the gob on her.
a brunette bombshell gobshite.
That's you, though, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I do have a level of intelligence, though. I'm funny.
Brunette. This is just a dating site at the minute,
I know it is. It's we should try that, shouldn't we? Raconteurs dating.
Raconteurs match.
Raconteurs.
Hey, that'd be a good.
Raconteurs.
Yeah, raconteurs.
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 Cunt.
Cunt hairs.
It is.
I did tell you she like saying the word cunt, didn't I?
Yeah, I can't get away with it on stage that much, so any other opportunity, other radio stations have banned me from swearing.
Tell them what the BBC did to you.
Yeah, I did an interview with BBC Lancashire once, and the DJ at the time was Steve Royal, and when I was waiting to go into the actual room, they'd obviously watched some of my comedy, and he held a sign up before I came in saying, like, we're going on in 5, and he held a sign up saying, please don't say cunt. He was like pre-warned by BBC. I think I did well on that, actually. It was like,
I think you did. You didn't swear at all.
No, it's not Tourette's. I just like swerving. Apparently, people who swear are the most honest.
And intelligent.
Yeah.
Jason's one of the most intelligent people I know.
What went wrong with you then?
Well, I can come to swear with the rest of them.
It's not the first cunts of the night. We've had a bit fine, haven't we?
Yeah, we've had a lot of cunts tonight, shitty leads. What, Jay?
Yeah, I'm just doing a bit of a disclaimer. If anybody's listening and offended by that, then fuck off. Because this is obviously not the show for you. It's Raconteurs News, Monday nights, the 19th of March 2018. Yeah, 2018. I think that's the way to say it. We used to say 1999, didn't we? So I think 2018 is the way forward at the moment. 2001 we're all right, but it's no good now. It's 2018, so it's it's absolutely fucking freezing. The Beast from the East has made a reappearance. We had a good couple of feet of snow in the last couple of days, and then my boiler decides to pack up. That's been a cold couple of days, and it took me once we managed to get the heating back on. The engineer managed to fucking turn up at 3:00 this afternoon. It took me ages to get warm. Ages. It was still in my bones. So anyway, we've got our guest tonight, Lindsey Davies, the stand-up comedian, author, and grandmother, spinster, nan, whatever. And we've got Paul Webster, who's with me. Yes, Paul Webster co-hosting with me this evening. Newest member of Raconteurs News team. So Andy's off tonight. He's away doing something. What's he up to anyway, Webber? Anything that we can report?
No, I think he was babysitting duties, and I don't know, something to do with racing cars or something like that.
Ah, right, okay. Racing cars. It'd probably be motorbikes if it's Andy.
Oh, one of them, yeah.
Yeah. Well, where we're going now?
I'm just looking at the comments. Blonde, redhead. I'm brunette, definitely brunette. Couple of greys, but they get covered up quite well.
We went back to UFOs for now.
and the curtains don't match the drapes, just because I shave it.
That's a lot of information, that.
Well, just before they ask.
Well, I suppose you're filling them in, preempting, aren't you? Yeah. Blimey, you're proper rock leads.
I'm surrounded by him tonight. Paul Todd has popped in into the Facebook Live comments and commented that we are Leeds and sent me a nice kissy face and an MOT. He must need the MOT doing on his car. So that's I don't know why he's telling me that. But I'm surrounded by him tonight. We've got Shitty Leeds and we've got Paul Todd, who's also a Leeds fan. Surrounded by him. And I've got two guests on. Well, I've got a co-host and a guest on who are from the dark side.
He thinks we're from the dark side of the Pennines.
Oh, right, okay.
They have this, this tribal thing. They're a bit weird over in that Yorkshire part. They've got this tribal thing.
Yeah, I've been up Snake Pass. It's fucking horrid.
They've not grown up yet over there.
Yeah, but I go over Snake Pass quite a lot.
I'd rather be a Sith anyway, to be honest, than the Jedi. I prefer the Sith.
Oh dear, right. More things. You've certainly set our chat room right.
Sorry, Jason, she's still reading these.
Sorry, I'm just reading these. I don't want to be ignorant. Are the eggs still leaping, Lindsay? Does that mean am I capable of still having children? Is that what you mean by that? Or is it a reference to Easter coming and you want to buy me some chocolate? I'm not quite sure. I think you mean I'm still having periods. They don't leap, by the way. They just fall out you in different stages of capacity.
Do you know what? I've never heard anybody talking about periods while seeing a raccoon impaled on a spike.
Yeah, you said it was no holds barred.
What the hell is going on
to,
this show today?
I'm trying to answer the guy's question. Yeah, I'm sterilised, by the way. No, you can spunk in me, and there's no way I'm going to get pregnant. Taken more loads. I've taken more loads than Eddie Stobart.
Oh, okay.
I'm joking.
Hey, she's not a slag though, lad. Come on.
I'm joking. But I am sterilised though. I am sterilised. Before you make any references, is it like a bucket? They're all delivered by caesarean section, so make your own mind up on that. Think of an earthworm's mouth. Next question, please.
It sounds tight. You started for 10, Linz.
Yeah.
Well, there's certainly a lot more information that we've got out of most.
No, I don't have piles.
That is a question that she's not just randomly saying that.
Yeah, that's just popped up. No, I don't have piles.
You don't know what to say to her, Jason, do you?
I'm sort of sitting here and thinking, there's a female version of me out there.
Can you imagine? I don't know why. Like, can you imagine me on Parkinson's?
I think it'd be a refreshing change.
It would be. You should be able to have more people who speak the mind.
We should have more honesty. I like a lot of this Jordan Peterson stuff, where he's been challenging all the control of what they've been trying to take over of language. Over in Canada, they were introducing a bill where it would be law compelling you to refer to somebody by their chosen pronoun. So if they didn't want to be a he or a she, they could be called a Z or a they. But it was in law that they were compelling him. And he said, if somebody comes to me in my class or to my clinic and says, I wish to be referred to as this, then I would politely refer to them that. But straight away I'd be saying, what is the issue behind that? But he was fighting against it because it was being made law. And this is what the far left always do. They take over control of languages and ideologies come in. And we've already been down that road with, communism and all that. We know where it goes. So the fact that he's talking about the language and some of the lectures that I've seen him do has been, it's proper deep thinking stuff. I think behind all the laughter, you're an intelligent woman who would get onto that because of while the system is trying to manipulate and take control. You see with the homeless now, because we've not even got onto that subject.
I know, I'm just looking at these. I love a woman with piles of money. I'm fucking skint, mate. Totally skint. Honestly, I'm that skint. When my daughter wanted to go to a party as a unicorn, I just strapped my vibrator to her head. That's how skint I am. Fuck advent calendars at Christmas. I buy a Freddo and chop it up into 25 pieces. Single mother, it's hard work.
No way.
I know about the bills of exchange. I kind of know a bit about it.
I didn't even mention that, Jason.
Webby sent me to sleep about it a few times.
Sent us all to sleep about it a few times.
I watched one of Webby's talks at an event on last year, didn't I?
Yeah, a couple of years back.
Back, I did some comedy for them. Which was a strange one, to say the least.
Yeah, it was a strange one.
Dogging audience, stuff like that. Kids.
Not. Let me just re-emphasise that it wasn't a dogging audience. There was a dog in the audience.
Yeah.
Not a dogging audience. Wasn't that type of venue, was it?
Yeah, from Lee though.
Yeah, but it wasn't that venue.
It's a dogging capital.
No, there's better. I bet Jason knows a better dogging capital over on that side of the Pennines than this.
What, dogging?
Dogging? Yeah.
Oh, it's big in West Yorkshire, mate.
See, West Yorkshire, and then
it's not called Snake Pass for nothing.
Yeah, there you go. It is.
Hey!
Do you like Yorkshire?
I do like Yorkshire tea, actually. Yeah, I do. I do buy it.
Wait,
When I'm
listen,
feeling a bit flush, I'll buy Yorkshire tea because it's ridiculously expensive.
This is the problem I encounter, right? When I go to Lancashire, which I do quite a lot, I go over to all over there, like Burnley, Blackburn, all around here, over into Merseyside. I go over there quite a lot. And you know, when I stop for a sandwich at one of these sandwich places, right, I always inevitably have this debate. Now, I'll say, can I have a bacon and egg sandwich on toasted bread? A toasted bacon and egg sandwich. Right, bacon and egg on toast. No, that's not what I said. A bacon and egg sandwich that is toasted. Yeah. Bacon and egg on toast. It's not bacon and egg on toast. Bacon and egg on toast would be a slice of toast with bacon on it and an egg. So stop it. You've got it wrong. What are your thoughts? What do you think? Is that something that you've come across and had trouble with when you've been in the Yorkshire area?
But if I'm in Yorkshire area, it's usually just in an evening if I'm gigging up that way. And to be honest, I don't really order much food, but gin seems to be the same thing as it is here, so that's all that I'm really bothered about.
Definitely a toasted sandwich. Anyway, we're almost at the hour mark. You're listening to Raconteurs News. We are with the Beast from the East outside encapsulating us and trying to make us fucking cold, but thank God we've got the heating fixed and back on and we're nice and snug, and I've not got to try and keep my hand warm by shoving it up Colin's arse. So you're listening to Raconteurs News. We're just going to play a couple of records and then we'll be back with part 2 with Lindsey Davies. That's me and Paul Webster.
I am a 1 in 10, a number on a list. I am a 1 in 10, even though I don't exist. Nobody knows me, but I'm always there. Statistical reminder of a world that doesn't care. Arms enfold the dough, malnutrition dulls my hair. My eyes are black and lifeless with an unprivileged stare. I'm the beggar on the corner, will no one spare a dime? I'm the child that never learned to read, cause no one spared the time. I am a 1 in 10, a number on a list. I am a 1 in 10, even though I don't exist. Nobody knows me, but I'm always there. Statistical reminder of a world that doesn't care. Murderer, the victim, I'm a license to a gun. I'm a sad, bruised old lady in an alley or in a slum. I'm a middle-aged businessman with chronic heart disease. I'm another teenage suicide in a street that has no trees. I am a 1 in 10, a number on a list. I am a 1 in 10, even though I don't exist. Nobody knows me, but I'm always there. Statistical reminder of a world that doesn't care. Starving third world mother, refugee without a home. I'm a housewife hooked on Valium, a pensioner alone. I'm a cancer-ridden specter, discovering the earth. I'm another hungry baby, I'm an accident at birth. I am a 1 in 10, a number on a list. I am a 1 in 10, even though I don't exist. Nobody knows me, but I'm always there. Statistical reminder of a world that doesn't care. I am a 1 in 10, a number on a list. in 10. Even though I don't exist, nobody knows me, but I'm always there. Statistical reminder of a world that doesn't care. I am a 1 in 10, a number on a list. I am a 1 in 10, even though I don't exist. Nobody knows me, but I'm always there. Statistical reminder of a world that doesn't care.
Right, it's all right. I'll
And welcome back to I said we're going live, and then you just start talking to each other.
Sorry.
Bloody hell, fire.
You've got me for a minute until he gets back, so fire away, carry on.
Right, well, I'm just going to do a quick recap for our listeners. Welcome back. Hope you had a good break. Couple of records there from the Sheffield legends. One from Heathcliff and one from the slightly less well-known and less talented legends that are Def Leppard. Pour Some Sugar on Me. I used to love that song when I used to work in a strip club, and it was always good to put that record on, and it always made them strip a little bit more vigorously. You know, and it gave you a bit of a boost for the evening, because there were long nights then. Adi will tell you, he used to do them as well. Anyway, welcome back. Welcome back to Raconteurs News with me, Jason Holmes, and Paul Webster with me as well, co-hosting. And we've got our guest tonight. And tonight, so far, we've discovered about our guest that she is a grandmother. She's a spinster. She's got a very, very small vagina, and she's got her tubes tied. Do you know, we found out more? I just, it pains me to say this, and I think this is probably going to be a question that I regret, but where do you want to go to now?
Me?
Yes,
Yeah.
you.
Yes.
Well, I'm just looking at the comments. Russian tea, I'm just going through that. Take my proposal back. She talks too much, was it? Yeah, I do talk a lot, you know.
You're a comedian.
I'm a very independent, strong woman. If you can't deal with it, shitty leads, you know, then take a hike, mister.
Do you talk with your mouth full, Lindsay?
Yeah, it's
All
a
right.
talent I have.
What we touched on just before the break, Linz, was, you know, throughout writing your books and the stand-up and that, and obviously a lot of it is based on experiences through your life, because I don't think you can be a comedian if you haven't had any experiences in life. I think that's what...
No, most comedians, you'll find they do come from quite tough backgrounds as well.
Yeah, some of them do.
Yeah, a lot of stuff with depression.
Yeah,
things
gotta
like
be
that.
funny or hard.
Yeah, I think like when you go through tough times as well, comedy is a really good escapism.
Yeah, laughter is.
Yeah, laughter is. Yeah.
Especially if you can laugh at things that have, you know, it does take a while talking before over stuff that I've been through, and you wonder why nobody's kicked a face in.
Yeah.
Type thing.
And putting like being gobby aside and stuff like that, because I am quite a laid back person as well. Like, I'm quite a loner at home. I like being on my own, and I am quite a quiet person when I'm not doing the comedy and stuff like this. I am quite quiet, and I like to read, write, watch documentaries and stuff like that, and the Nibster on YouTube. But for me, it's even though even as a comedian you can have some time, but you don't know in the audience who's having a really bad time.
And sometimes they can relate to it.
Yes, and as well, for me, it's the best feeling in the world. You know, if I've seen someone spit their pints out or something like that, or, you know, you have people coming up to you afterwards saying, I've not laughed like that in a long time. And it's really rewarding. It really is the best feeling in the world to make people laugh. I mean, it's better than making them cry.
And therapy as well.
Yeah, it is, yeah. For me and probably audience members as well and onlookers, because, you know, everyone likes to laugh. And if you can laugh in the most tragic of circumstances, it takes quite a talent. I mean, there's topics what I steer away from, obviously, on stage, because they can be too close to
personal.
Yeah.
We were talking about the PC stuff the other day.
Yeah,
people are very offended by a lot of
I mean,
things
I completely support everything PC. I support transgender rights and transvestite rights, lesbian, gay. A lot of my friends, I've got friends on the circuit who are gay, lesbian, transgender, you know, and they're brilliant acts. Yeah. You know, and for me, it's just every individual's got the right to be who they want, say what they want, you know. But it's kind of like, I don't like the racist stuff as well. I don't touch on that. I'm not saying I've never laughed at racist jokes and stuff, and rape jokes and stuff. Like Ricky Gervais says it himself, it's the context, it's it's taken in. You know what I mean? And some people, you only have to say the word rape or a black person, and the audience just switch off straight away. And it's like, and so I just kind of steer away from them. And I play on the single mother.
You're playing in a game where you've got to, if you want to make a success of it, because not a lot of people want to hear the truth in that
I think if you've got a bigger status, sort of like if you're more famous, you can get away with it. Like Ricky Gervais does these really close enough with Frankie
challenges.
Boyle and stuff. Yeah.
Frankie Boyle challenges a lot of boundaries, doesn't he?
Yeah, I love Frankie Boyle. Ricky Gervais is my favourite. Stuart Lee, love Stuart Lee as well.
You've just answered one of the questions. They're asking what your favourite comedians are.
Right, yeah. Stuart Lee, Ricky Gervais, definitely. Growing up, Rick Mail, one, you know, that is like, he was just one of them people who could
Didn't you stalk him? You have got a reputation as a stalker.
I did almost meet him outside the Apollo, and I went, let's watch Bottom Live. And I have to say, I don't, celebrity deaths and stuff, I just think, oh, that's a shame. Yeah. But I did actually genuinely feel gutted.
Yeah, you was obsessed with Rick Mail.
I loved him. He's the reason probably I'm a bit nuts into comedy, because he made me laugh so much.
Lindsay, we had the director we've had the director of his last film on the show twice. And she has some great. If you want to have a look back through the archives, you'll find her. Diane Jessie Miller, she's called, and particularly in both shows, both were good shows. And we talked a lot about Rick, and she gave us a bit of an insight into what he was like and what have you. So that might be something that you might want to listen back to. And I'd suggest anybody does, because there's some great anecdotes about Rick in there, and things that she was telling us, and how he treated her, and you know, when she went to his house, and he was so not good and, you know, nice to her. And so Rick Mail's one of my heroes as well, I've got to say. But you know what? Not particularly for. Although I love the young ones, I didn't get Bottom. I didn't get it. But my favourite was The New Statesman. And if you watch those back and you look at today and what's going on,
definitely,
it's
that
so
on the Minister. Yeah.
Did you ever see? He made about 3 serious dramas called Rick Mail Presents, and I would love to get hold of them. You might be able to get them on YouTube now. Actually, it's just brought back to me then when you talk about the young ones and stuff. And he did like these 3 dramas. One, he was like a game show host in it. There was 3 different stories. Yeah, one of them, it was a tramp on the street, and he come across a writer's work, and he got the fame for it and stuff. And they were really, really good, and they were called Rick Mail Presents, and it was a different story. And because he was a very good actor as well, he weren't just an idiot who, you know, in Bottom is an absolute crazy person.
Well, I would explain Bottom to Jason, because Jason didn't get Bottom. Now I think it's just a load of
it's
jokes.
It is just toilet humour, isn't it? And it's just it's their chemistry together, I think, of what people loved, and it's not very realistic.
All he had to do was go.
That's it. He only had to pull a face for me, and that was it. I was just.
I remember being sat in the audience.
The guys that John Hull, like Lindsay, how you like this in real life? What would you say, Webber?
Very much.
I am in a way, but it depends. Like a chameleon. Like I worked in a professional job. I was a business development manager for a company. And I used to go into big companies like Heinz and all, you know, loads of big companies, and I have to sit with directors and.
You used to work in fitness as well.
Yeah, negotiate contracts and stuff, so I can be very professional. It was only like tonight I'm just maybe taking it up a notch, because usually if I go on radio, they have to like, they have to like tone me down, and they try and cocoon me. So Webby said it was no old bar on here tonight, so I thought, fuck it, I'll just go for it.
Do you remember Kevin Turvey?
Yes, I do remember Kevin Turvey.
Absolutely brilliant.
Character,
yeah. My name's Kevin Turvey.
There weren't enough of him, actually. There's not much you can find on Kevin Turvey either, which is a shame.
You used to always do that, stick his stomach on it.
And Drop Dead Fred, obviously, my kids.
Love Drop Dead Fred.
And my kids growing up absolutely love Drop Dead Fred. But he's a very serious actor as well.
I know, I've seen him do some good parts.
Yeah, he's a really serious actor.
Have you not seen the last film that Jason was on about, who director that he interviewed?
No, I would. I still have the documentary, what was released after his death, and I haven't watched it yet because I was that gutted when he died. I couldn't bring myself to watch it, so I've actually still not got round to watch it. I probably could now, but for a while I was just like, I just can't.
Well, it's because they were. Do you know it's based about the 9/11 stuff?
What, the documentary?
The last film that he did.
Oh no.
The last film that he did, he played this. What was he, like an old fella, wasn't he, who's meant to, be a bit. Everybody thinks he's a bit strange and eccentric.
Yeah.
But when he starts talking, go on.
What he did is Diane Jessie Miller is an independent filmmaker, director, and she does things for film festivals and things like that. And she got this script, this idea of this, and the main theme of the show was population control. How they're going to reduce the population and all that sort of thing. And then it has 9/11 in it and all these sorts of things. Now, Diane Jessie Miller cheekily wrote to sent Rick Mayall's agent the script. Rick read it and said he'd do it for nothing.
Oh, brilliant.
And he did it. He did the film for nothing. The film was done on a real shoestring budget for a feature film, and she's been trying to get it released ever since. Now it's been released. There are a couple of ways that you can get it, I think, but you'd have to do a search on it. It's called One by One, and it really is worth a watch. And we've had the director Diane Jessie Miller, on a couple of times, and she's a really interesting guest, and she's a really down to earth girl. It's just. She's just, just loves what she does and don't really do it for money or prestige or anything like that. Obviously, would like to get some of the money that she invested in the film herself back. But apart from that, she's not. She's just interested in the art of it. So it was a real scoop for her, really, to get Rick Mayall involved. And you would have thought that would have given it a load of publicity, but it sort of had the opposite effect. And some people do contend that that's probably why Rick Mayall was heart attacked. Which,
I think
if you're getting your conspiracy head on, then
they're not going to publicise something like. Going back to the Nibiru thing again, I've kind of brainwashed my mum with it. But my mum was crazy. She started putting tins under skirts and stuff. It's really funny. I rang her the other week and said you've got 2 hours.
She talked to the
I had to talk to my mum. It's so funny because she's the most gullible person ever. But the Nibiru thing, she rang me up the other week. My mum, do you know the Bee movie?
Yeah.
And she said she loves the horror channel. My mum's one of these people. I'm a big horror fan, and I love I'm talking American Werewolf in London. Like The Evil Dead and the proper classic horrors. My mum is one of these who just sits at the edge of the coach, gripped at Sharknado, thinking that it's real. She was. I once had the flu at my mum's, and I was asleep on the coach. And when I woke up, I swear to God, she was watching a film, and there was a shark running on the beach, chasing someone. And honestly, my mum was behind the cushion. I'm not even joking. She's crazy. She believes everything. I'm like, Mum, this is the worst film ever. It's this plastic shark, what was out of a board game or something, what they just computerised, but run along the beach. But that's how crazy my mum is, and she believes everything. But she did ring me and say, even though I take the mick out of the films she watches, she said one of these B movies are very cheaply made. They were referencing Nibiru quite a lot.
But if
that was a Hollywood blockbuster, there's absolutely no way that would.
I don't know, there's a lot of stuff coming out.
2012 is the closest I've seen, but it doesn't mention Nibiru, it's just
it's mentioning everything else about depopulation and everything. All that stuff. They don't seem to be holding back on much these days.
Shitty Leeds, my opinion on the Russian spy thing. I said earlier that just today I've updated my status regarding the free school meal cuts. The Russian spy thing, I'm kind of know a little bit about it, but I've not looked into it properly yet, simply because when it was highlighted in the news last week, I was rehearsing for my first solo show. So when I tend to have something big on like that, I just switch the TV off, I switch everything off. So it's only this week I'm kind of catching up on everything, so I don't really have much of an opinion at the minute. Sorry.
I did see an article on the Business Insider stating that this actual nerve agent or whatever it was actually with the two people who've been gassed. And there was an article that said in I think it was the Times, that stated that nobody had come forward who showed any signs in Salisbury. Nobody had come to the hospitals, to A&E. Anybody who'd attended didn't have any symptoms of it, but they had come under precaution thinking that they may have symptoms. So there's no other symptoms been found with these people. So there's definitely something strange that there's no evidence been presented. They're asking for evidence, and then the evidence will not be presented. Yet they're still saying, well, we will use nuclear weapons on Russia. We're going to send our ships. What, both of them? I hope it's not too warm, those waters. We've got a ship that can't sail in warm water. I don't know what's going on with everything. The fucking world's bonkers.
Well, they're building underground.
That's a conspiracy theory.
No, but yeah, in Russia and America. I'm thinking, is that for nuclear or is it Nibster? I call it Nibster now. I feel like I've got a close connection with it.
Yeah, well, for me, I think it's just theatre. There's no way. What are we going to fucking do? Russia. You know what I mean? What we're going to do? We threaten them, and then they go, oh, well, it's all right. We've got all these fucking nuclear weapons fucking pointed straight at you, so if you fuck us off, we'll just fucking obliterate you. It's like...
It's a last-ditch attempt to put us into Europe. They want us to be part of this it's not even the UN anymore, but they want us all to be this European army and be against the likes of China and Russia and Iran and Syria. All these groups now, you can see that they've been separated.
Not the Europeans.
Exactly, but well, are we not? Are we not? Everything about Brexit for me is just smoke and mirrors, and this is a distraction. There's something not right. A double agent that's been captured by the KGB or whatever you want to call them, interrogated and released, and now all of a sudden they kill him when there's an election in Russia. He's won, hands down. There's been a 67% turnout in Russia, and he got 72% of the votes. The other votes were like 90% for Crimea and stuff like that. So there's something not right. And it seems when you've got a Prime Minister standing up, not convincingly telling people that we might have to go to war with Russia because of this attack on our soil, with no evidence, and people are buying it. Or some people are. But...
Do you know? I don't think they are, though. That's the thing, though, Paul. I don't think they are buying it. It's everything.
It's very poor, isn't it? It's very poor what they're doing. They're not even trying.
It's terrible. It's a fucking waste of time. It's like, what are we going to do? All right. Well, I tell you what. I'll tell you what we should do. We should, if it's like this, we should get fucking Putin and May into a fucking ring and let them fight the Sens and then decide who's fucking won. Because it's just ridiculous.
I want Putin to smash her face in the floor.
Well, it is, isn't it?
I've never ever known a situation in my lifetime where a British Prime Minister is thought that little of that a Russian Premier would be thought as a better person, better man. And this fella, they're saying that he's interfered in all this stuff. When I've seen his interviews, he's the only one out of all the politicians that is talking in a sense.
Yeah.
I said this to Jason last night, who was pissing at it. The health minister for South Africa, right? He's hit the nail on the head. He knows what is the leading cause of death in South Africa. Mm. It's dying. That's the leading cause of fucking death. Dying. And we're looking to these people to save others. He's the only one that's been talking any sense, but you're getting called names for actually saying that. That's what I was saying before. When you're being censored, somebody's trying to control something about you. I understand when you go into the BBC and stuff, you've got to tone that down because you're looking at a big audience.
Yeah.
You know, you know, your audience narrows down once you say the word cunt several times.
Can't even say fuck.
Exactly.
You can't say shit.
How can some get away with it then?
I think it depends.
Is it
It's a
the status
program.
thing?
Yeah, I just think it's like I've only been on it the once. So, funny enough. They've not asked me back. No, I mean, obviously, I can control myself. You know, sort of works at a very professional job, so
Yes.
I can control it, and I know when I need to behave. Is what I'm saying. But for me, like on my Facebook, I'm more. I just dick about because you know I get gigs and I want to get more gigs, so I just make people laugh because that's what I do. So it's kind of like I'm not very serious on Facebook. You may have noticed.
Yes.
Some people say, I can't believe that's just happened. I'm like, it's a joke. It's fiction. It's just a joke what I've made.
You've had your serious one about the food being next to 5 kids.
I put one on about the food bank, free school meals being taken away in the future, and I had my rant about that, and then they put on, this is my serious post for the month, I'll be an idiot again from tomorrow.
And then you come on here and talk about serious stuff.
People think there's something wrong if I put something serious. They're like, Lindsay, you are right. DMs, like, Lindsay, what's up? So it's a lot of it's character. So
well, we've had that chat about what social media is used for, haven't we, Jason? Jason had a rant several times the other day about it because of people posting stuff like the dinners on Facebook and stuff like that.
Yeah, but if you're going to post your dinner, it's going to be funny. Like I did my mistake, didn't I?
Yeah.
So it's steak and blowjob day. So because I'm single and I've actually quit my job for the comedy, I've put a picture on of me eating steak and said it was steak and no job day. So I think if you're going to put your meal on, at least like make it a little bit humorous. So you know.
But Jason's aiming at the people who don't look at anything serious. I mean, as much as I know you for being funny and humorous, you can be serious and you can have an intelligent conversation.
No, I can't.
And if you can also disagree with people without.
But if I disagree with someone, I will just say it. I don't hold back my opinion just for the sake of holding back. I will actually stand my ground.
Yeah, well, I think that's what.
But I know when to shut up. Like, if you know, sometimes you're just arguing with idiots.
Yeah, they drag you down to the.
And it's just well, a certain person we know, you know, as well online. Online and stuff like that, and it's like you're not throwing anything constructive into the debate, or you know, it's just like you're dismissing my opinions.
Well, that's exactly
it's really rude. Like I don't agree with everything you said or your beliefs. You probably don't mind, but you're entitled to them, and I'm entitled to mine. Yeah. You know, and if it gets too heated, I'm like, look, let's not ruin a friendship over it. Let's just like agree to disagree, and that's the best way to deal with it, I think. If everyone had the same opinion.
People seem to have lost that, though, don't they? They seem to have lost that ability to be able to say, right, listen, we don't agree on this. We're never going to agree on it. We're so far apart, right? And we are friends, so I'm just going to shut the fuck up because it's just a waste of time. You're never going to change my mind, and I'm not going to change yours. But people seem to have lost that ability because then you'll get somebody coming back to you and saying, you know, that you've lost argument, and you know you rather try and score points and fucking. People think that you know, if I shout loudest, I'm obviously going to be right, only because everyone else can't really give a fuck and fucking really don't want to listen to you shouting anymore, so they shut the fuck up. It's
good to wind them up sometimes. It's good to wind them up. Like one of my best friends, well, they've been friends for like 25 years. He's a born again Christian. He became a born again Christian about 8 years ago, and he's gone from science to like Christianity. So you know, I do take the mick quite a lot because I'm not a really religious person. But it's banter. You know what I mean? I'm not like I don't disrespect his views. It's just like it's now you can like have a bit. If you can have a bit of banter and take the piss, is what I'm saying.
Yeah, but a lot of it though.
It's a sign of a good friendship when you can do that. If you can take the piss out of one another like that and not get offended, as long as you kind of respect one another's opinions and views, I think.
But don't you find that you know when you get somebody who disagrees with you, they don't disagree with you and put a good argument into the place to why they disagree. They just tell you you're wrong. That's the fucking problem, isn't it? You've got these fucking idiots that think, well, they just think that they can just say that. You're wrong. Right, all right, fair enough. It works both ways as well, because you get other people who'll say you're a fucking shill. You'll get people on the other side, the ones that are these truthers that perhaps have just got into finding out that 9/11 were an inside job and 7/7 were as well. They've perhaps not got onto that bit yet, but they've got onto 9/11 and now they know fucking everything about everything. And they'll come on and they'll argue the toss over some shit that doesn't even fucking matter. It doesn't matter. You know, and they'll argue the fucking toss for hours and hours, and they'll spend so much, and it's all about the fucking winning, the argument, there you go, that's it, I fucking served you your ass on a plate. I don't care. Someone doesn't agree with me, they can just disagree with me.
With the public forums that you get on Facebook, I'll read through them, but I tend to just not get involved because I've done that before. There was a group called Christians Against Dinosaurs. I was really bored one day, and I just joined for fun. And I posted a picture of Jesus on a Brontosaurus Rex, and all day the abuse I got, and I was just trying like putting a bit of light humour, which they didn't appreciate. So I spent like a full day arguing with these numpties, just like saying, look, the dinosaurs were here. We've got fossils and geographical proof, and geologists have proven it, and like there was no telling them. And basically, I got banned from the site. But ever since then, I learned a lesson. It's just like, just don't bother. I see public forums. I don't always agree. Flat earthers are another one. I could go on forever with them.
We've done
idiots as well. The Earth's round. That's all I'm saying on it.
Yeah, but is it round and flat or is it globular?
It's spherical.
How do we know this?
Because I've seen the pictures, and the sun. When the sun comes up, if the Earth was flat, you would have night and day. The sun would just be, we rotate around like a ball.
I don't get that.
I don't want to get into it.
See, she's going to start arguing now.
Yeah.
Have you checked the geocentric model, like I said?
No, I'll put it on my to-do list.
No, because she's stuck with the heliocentric model. Listen, we're not flat earthers on here.
We're stuff as well.
All we are is people that want to know the truth. How to beat
council tax and get free gas and electricity. It's all on my list.
Bills of exchange, Lindsay. That's all. That's all you need to know. Oh, hey, anyway.
But I'm not Lindsay anyway, so it doesn't really matter.
No, you are. You're just not Miss Lindsay.
I am Miss.
No, you're not.
What am I? Mrs.
No.
Just
you're
Lindsay.
just Lindsay. You don't need a title. You're Lindsay.
I want a title. I want to be princess.
We'll use it. All right, Princess
I want my
Lindsay
own
then.
castle.
I think anybody listening back to this show, particularly the first hour, will definitely probably object to the title Princess being bestowed upon you, Lindsay. I just think it's probably...
Davies, find me on Facebook, Princess Lindsay.
But what we didn't get onto was, as I said, through your life, you've gone into your comedy and your writing, but then we stopped at the homeless project just beforehand. Yes. So tell us a bit how you got into that, because that was a bit of a change of tack for you.
Yeah, well, over the years I've always given to homeless. It's something I'm quite passionate about. I don't think anyone should be on the streets. I don't care what race they are, what religion they are. No one should be starving, no one should be freezing. And it disgusts me, really, like, makes me feel sick when I see it. You've got about Manchester and Liverpool, the cities especially, it's absolutely horrendous. So last year I started volunteering for Leeds Homeless Support Project. So they're not all homeless, they're just destitute and they can't afford food, so they come in for a meal, and we give them breakfast and an evening meal every day. So I started working with them, and then we did a fundraiser last December. And there is a website for this as well, which is the Homeless Support Standup.project.com, which is what I kind of orchestrated throughout the UK. So I basically set up over 30 comedy nights on the same night throughout the UK. And I'm talking like the Soho Theatre got involved, the Frog and Bucket, the Comedy Store, some really big clubs got involved. And each night, what I did is I assigned each club or night of charity the local non-profit charity, by the way, what's just purely run by volunteers.
Not registered charity.
Yeah, not these wankers. I mean, we're a registered
like
charity.
Children who gets £275,000.
Like the head of cancer research who's living on his own fucking island or something like that, whatever Dick's paying for by paying £10 a month or whatever. Yeah. We don't get paid. Yeah. These little charities and the homeless shelters and the kitchens and stuff don't receive any money unless they've got to pay rent for the premises. That's it. So I set up this night, and we raised nearly 10 grand nationwide. It was in the papers. We've got a lot of backing of a lot of newspapers and media and comedy forums. Loads of big comedians were getting involved as well, performing for free to raise money. So basically, at least 25 homeless shelters over the UK received a cash boost at Christmas. The Mustard Tree in Manchester. They sent me a lovely letter just saying might help save lives, that they could buy more sleeping bags and stuff. So this year it's going to be bigger. And you can go on the website and it tells you all about it and the nights what we're on. And it's I'm hoping to expand that. But
what website is that?
It's www.thehomelesssupportstandupproject.com. But yeah, it's something I am passionate about. My latest venture is I've just put in a proposal for a charity shop in our hometown, managed to blag 3 months, 12 months free rent, and we should be getting the keys in the next week or two. So we're going to turn it into like a self-sustaining charity shop just for our homeless shelter in Leeds. So it's not a national charity. All the money, it's just local volunteers, and all the profits go straight into the homeless charity to buy food, sleeping bags, toiletries, helping people, maybe put them up in a B&B for a night, whatever it is what they need. And if that takes off, I'm going to try and go to the other charities around the UK and propose that they may do the same. And hopefully, you never know, knock some of these big charities
who are stealing everything. Stealing everything, because there's no, as I keep going on, and I've told you about this, how I link my stuff in, because these people have been made homeless, a lot of them, because they can't afford to pay bills. And because of the way the economy is, they won't understand that isn't their fault either.
Yeah.
And all the money, all the donations that people give willingly because they are compassionate, all the adverts. I mean, you can't sit through daytime television and not see African children dying.
I know. Like but it's only like 10p to the pound goes to the charity. And that is just, there's no way.
One of your big favourites, Bono. Yeah, he was obsessed with
When
Bono.
I was younger, but I didn't know.
His charity raised something like 250 grand and something like £200 went to the charity.
Yeah, it's fucking dick.
This is ridiculous. Tell you who's working well with a lot of the guys over now. And do you remember the Cores?
Yeah.
Jim Core.
Yeah.
I've just become friends with Jim on Facebook because of all the great work that the Irish lads are doing over there with banks. And it's because people like that who are genuine, honest people who want to see things happen.
He's asking to put the link up for the charity thing. I don't know if you can type it in. I've got a keyboard there. But yeah, I know what you mean. It's like the same every year. Like that, you can watch children in need and sit there in tears. You can sit in tears watching it. Yeah. And we've raised 10 million. There's 10 million. And the year after, they've still got fuck all in Africa.
Exactly.
You're like, well, one of they've had over years. They should have a fucking Morrison's up there. You know what I mean? Yeah, they've got a well.
They've drawn some plans up for a well.
Yeah, it's bullshit. And people who do carry on donating,
it's part of the problem, aren't they, really?
Yeah.
Because they should start looking towards what they can really help, like in the local projects. I've become friends with a lad who's over in Doncaster who's just took it upon himself to go out and help people. And, he went out one day and he got 2 fellas shelter. And they were offering, there was blankets and everything offered to him with him, just from Facebook Live. That was one man doing it.
Yeah. Well, I did last year. I mean, I literally was a catalyst for a major national event on the comedy circuit. Yeah, and this year, I mean, I've had promoters already saying, are you doing it again this year? I said, yeah, it's going to be a yearly thing. I can't do it all year round. No comedian's going to earn any money. It's the living at the end of the day. But obviously, the winter time is the harshest time when it's cold. They need blankets, they need sleeping bags, they need more food.
Yeah.
It fucks me off that the government don't do anything. And this we were about Andy Burnham before. How's this for bullshit. And I did tweet him as well, and he ignored me.
He ignored everything.
Yeah. Basically, I contacted Andy Burnham's PA.
Oh, she don't like me.
I emailed her and basically said, this is what's happening on the comedy circuit. It's going to go in the Manchester Evening News and everything. I know Andy has his homeless fund in Manchester, so-called. So he's got his homeless fund in Manchester. Now, I said to them, would Andy provide a quote of support for the newspapers, but get a bit more publicity, saying, it's a good thing. And basically her answer was, how much of this money is going into Andy's homeless fund? So I'm like, well, fuck all's going to Andy's homeless fund. Let him do his own fundraising. Yeah. This is for selected charities who are struggling to stay afloat to help the homeless. Yeah. Some of these charities, they take tea and coffee around on the streets with a cart and stuff just to help people and in their own spare time, and they get fuck all for it. Andy Burnham sat there in his fucking posh office with his fucking platinum pen, with his smarmy face and his whilst having Botox injected, and he couldn't even provide a quote. Because I don't know if I blame Andy personally, but the PA wouldn't take it any further because the money wasn't going to Andy's homeless project, and if it gets bigger this year and it's refused again, I will make a point of highlighting that all over his Twitter, all over his Facebook, just to humiliate him, because it's like, I am going to go straight to Jeremy Corbyn this time. Fuck Burnham anyway, he's a dick. Straight to Burnham, straight to Corbyn. I'll put the link up now. That should go to it for the guy who asked. So I do look good in stockings.
One thing about Andy Burnham this time, I was talking to lads about it. John Wedger's a detective sergeant.
Right.
Sorry, was a detective constable. And he ended up working for the Met, looking into paedophile rings. And he found out that paedophiles were going around the sex register by living on canal barges. But from that investigation, it took him to find bigger rings, knocking on the Houses of Parliament in Westminster. And he was warned off by his bosses. So to generate interest into this child abuse that's being covered up, and now police whistleblowers are being, because he was harassed for months, but on the half page tried to sack him and everything over it. And he did this walk from down south up into Manchester, and Lee Collins, who was promoting it, they wrote to Andy Burnham and asked him to come and meet him, for nothing. Not a fucking thing. And then he said, oh, well, we didn't know about it.
The funniest experience I ever had with Andy Burnham was when the election was coming up for a new Labour leader. So I went to the Sports Village and watched Andy's speech. And he was saying, he was bolting against the welfare reform and stuff, he was really against it, and the new benefit bills, what were coming in and stuff. So I was like, I might go for Burnham here, because you had to be a Labour member to vote. So I literally signed up because I wanted to vote. And then I was like between him and Corbyn, because I thought, well, he's a lead well, he's not now, but he was at the time. He's MP. Yeah. So I thought, well, I'll try and be supportive. But when I watched it in the House of Commons, it was actually only Corbyn who stood up, and Andy Burnham abstained his vote. So he went against everything what he said. So I thought, you'd be a proper shit leader. And Corbyn was just completely stood in front of everyone. So I posted on Andy's Facebook wall saying, I was going to vote for you, but you've clearly no balls. And he started following me on Twitter after that. He's never spoke to me. He doesn't reply to anything I say, but it's true. He's a complete bullshitter. And I lost complete respect for him at that point.
Yeah. So, I've never had the respect for him, but I thought if he is this good man, he would listen. But it's quite clear that information like doing what you were saying, going against that, it wouldn't be good for his career.
No.
It's the same way he wouldn't speak to me about council tax and utility bills. They're not interested, and Blair actually handpicked. I remember Tony Blair, pointing specifically Andy Burnham out and saying, this man's going to be a leader, blah, 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 all this kind of...
Kind of edge to the right, though, then, don't they? They're not, it's like Corbyn's proper left.
Yeah,
I'm really far left.
That's why they call themselves New Labour. Thatcher was asked when she was left office what was her greatest achievement, and she said New Labour, which was Tony Blair. Now, did Corbyn agree with everything Tony Blair? No, he didn't.
Yeah.
So, if at the
He
least,
wanted him arrested, didn't he?
yeah, but at the very least, I would say Corbyn would give us that gap to actually give us some time to because there's a lot of people doing a lot of things. You know, there's constitutionalists who are working on bringing in common law again because we've been usurped with this fucking commercial law that is attached to you. This is where you said Miss Lindsey Davies. You can't be, because Miss Lindsey Davies only exists on that piece of paper. So
sometimes I put Mrs. because I just want to feel like I'm married. It makes me feel special.
Mrs.
I say though, if I got married, I'd keep my own name.
Would you?
Yeah, it's my name.
Well, that's disrespectful.
Fuck him.
What would you call kids?
I think it's because I would definitely keep it for stage. I wouldn't change my name now because of
maiden name.
Yeah, people normally
yeah,
they start changing it. They'll be having your acts again.
You can change it legally. I mean, that's what your husband requires.
Yeah. Fuck him.
Well,
Give him the call.
Come on, you've got to be. Listen, my missus fucking couldn't wait to get rid of her name. She fucking hated it. She loves my name because it's interesting.
The only reason I get rid of my name is because Webby knows this. Our family's cursed.
Yeah.
We have this
Cursed.
just really unlucky family, aren't we?
Yeah.
We just bad luck follows us everywhere, and I always call it the Davies curse. Maybe if I change my name, the curse would be broken.
Yeah.
They are definitely cursed. They are a cursed family.
Yeah, we're so unlucky.
Jesus Christ! Well, I did say to you, didn't I, Webby? It's interesting to meet somebody who's like a female version of me that just says what the same wrong and is cursed because I'm individually cursed.
Jason, you already know that she shaves her bits, and I've already told her that you shaved your balls while talking to me and Andy in the bath.
Well, what else is there to do when you're on Skype call? Shave your balls. I'm fucking multitasking. People think that blokes can't multitask. I can talk on Skype to two blokes, and get in the bath and shave me knackers. Come on. And you know what? The good thing is...
I completely agree with you. I agree. I've masturbated twice while I've been talking to
you. Well, yeah, and that's happened before to me.
Yeah, but it's not you
I did have a phone call the other day, and
I to the Bill of Rights.
Bills of Exchange.
Whatever it is. Bills of Rights, that's American, isn't it?
We do have a Bill of Rights.
I've not even had a gin.
Come on, you're showing your ignorance now.
I had a phone call the other day, and I answered my phone. I didn't recognise the number. I answered my phone. And there was this woman that ended up phoning. She said, "Is that Jason?" And I said, "Yeah." And she said, "I'm sorry, you don't know me, but I just wanted to listen to the sound of your voice whilst masturbating." I said, "That's fucking amazing. How the fuck did you know I were masturbating?" You can have that one.
Thanks, I'll try it. I'll try it at the Frog and Bucket. See how it goes down.
Frog and Bucket, is that a euphemism?
Fucking hell, mate. Have you been waiting to just put that joke out there for all this time?
Come on, it's a classic joke, isn't it? It's like, you know, you first of all you think it's her that's masturbating, listening to my voice, and it's not. It's me that's actually masturbating, and she's listening to my voice while I'm doing it. See what I mean?
Listen, it's not funny if you have to. It's not funny if you have to explain it.
And you do remember before what we talked about that I've had cesarean sections, so it's not very bucket-like down there. Maybe went making a brew before. I used one of his incense sticks. So it's. Got myself off, and it smells great.
That's why I ran out.
Smells of lavender.
So am I right in saying
too far? I always go too far.
You do.
Am I right in saying Colin's got?
Before we started. You what, pal?
Am I right in saying that Colin's got more up him now than she can get?
Probably not.
No.
You've not.
Yeah.
You've never said that. I've heard about all your misadventures with blokes, but I've never heard of any of the ones who, he was like fucking unlike King Kong and this.
I know, that's some good ones.
Oh, you never mentioned them. It's always the bad ones.
I know, you get more comedy out of the bad ones, don't you? It's funnier. I've had some good times with men.
Are you back in the room?
It's not like a hippo, John. I've said before, it's like an earthworm's mouth.
It's like a wizard's sleeve.
No, mine's more like Barbie's sleeve.
Fucking hell.
Andy Young's just asking
this is
in
just
the chat.
degraded tonight, and it's just completely degraded. This is Raconteurs News, by the way, everybody. We're talking about serious news issues and our guest's Clopper. So if you... yeah, Clopper, it's a colloquial term.
I know what colloquial terms are, but what is Clopper? What's the reference to, like?
A Clopper,
Clopper.
the you know... Remember?
Is that your favourite analogy, like or term for a vagina? Clopper. Is that a Yorkshire thing?
Do you know, it is. You know why? Because it's not as offensive as cunt. And also, you get away with half of the people being offended because they don't know what the fuck you're talking about.
I thought you'd have said clout over there.
Clout, yeah.
I thought you'd have said clout.
No, Clopper. Well, I mean, some people do, but they're the people that are unimaginative. You know, the imaginative people use phrases like clopper or growler, even. I mean, that's a good one.
Fucking hell, who made that one up? It doesn't growl.
Shows your growler.
Your growler, yeah, there you go. It works, you know. Instantly, you know what somebody knows what you mean, unless they're walking the dog at the time when you say "show us your growler," and then they'll just go here it is, and it'll probably fucking growl at you. So
I'm quite sure if I said to a guy from Leeds, "Stick it in my growler," he'd fucking leg it. He would absolutely leg it.
And I'm pretty sure you say to a girl from there, you say "show us your growler," she'll know what you mean. You'll get something in your face. It might be a fist. It might not.
Probably a fist.
But you see, it's a term that's not universal. Not everybody knows it, right? So what you might do is you might say, could I perchance enter your growler, right? And the girl might agree and actually think that you're talking about, you know, the other one. And then that's a double bonus, see? And that's through ignorance.
Or if you're in the mountains of Canada and you're like, come and have a look at my growler, they'd shit themselves.
I think we're going a bit.
Yeah, let's get off the mince talk.
Yeah.
Don't say stretch.
Yeah, okay,
Yeah,
all right. We've got about...
Let's move on from vaginas.
Well, Man in a Frock is talking about a narrow canal. I think that's still talking about your vagina.
Narrow canal?
Yeah.
Not that narrow, really.
Is it narrow anal and he's just missed it?
Yeah.
Oh, the narrow canal.
I was meant to say arrow.
Arrow anal?
Oh man, it's been such a fucking fun 2 hours. I think I've not laughed as much it's probably because you're a comedian. Do you call are you a comedian or are you a comedian?
It's comedian.
Comedian.
Yes, it's comedian. It's like there's no actress anymore. It's actor, man, woman.
She is the queen of PC.
Have you got any gigs coming up that anybody who might be listening would be able to go along
well, I've just done my first solo show. 45-minute show called Gin and Comic in Warrington, and I'm trying to get venues all over the place before next year, before the Edinburgh Fringe. I'm going to take it to the Edinburgh Fringe, but gigs wise, I'm in Warrington Wolves next week. None coming up in Yorkshire.
You've not got a date at a time?
I have, but I've not got my diary with me. I've got one in Preston coming up soon as well.
Is there any way that you can find this stuff out?
Yeah, I post everything on my Facebook.
So just Facebook Lindsey Davies?
Yeah. I usually post where all my gigs are on my Facebook page. And then you get to know like what I'm like as well.
Is it Davies with an E?
Yeah, the Welsh way.
Davies with it, and is it Lindsey with an F?
Lindsey with an F.
S.
F. No,
yes,
an F.
Lindsey.
Sorry, I was just trying to be funny. An F, I said. But
Shitty Leeds is saying it depends what she looks like. What's wrong with personality, Shitty Leeds?
Yeah, fucking personality's a lot better than looks, isn't it?
But if you need to know, I'm really fit as well.
Oh, there you go.
Maybe not tonight, I've no makeup on.
Are
I'm
you not
poorly.
moan about being ill?
I am poorly. Honestly, I almost didn't come to the show before we get on that fucking
For
road
God's
again.
sake. We've finally got there, haven't we? We've got to like 5 minutes before end of show when you've finally come.
Yeah. Anticlimax.
It's just gone fucking absolutely fucking nuts tonight. The chat room's been on fire. I think it's been a great show that we've had tonight, Lindsay. So once again, just give us some links to where people can find your work or what they need to look for on YouTube or something, if there's any of your gigs up there or anything like that.
Yeah, you can get some stuff on YouTube. You just have to type my name in. Obviously, if you want to buy my book, you can get it on Waterstones online and Amazon. It's Mr. Wrong by Lindsey Davies. Or you can just follow me on Facebook, Twitter. Twitter's at Lindsey Davies 77. Giving my age away there. And you might like the Twitter one, actually. Shitty Leeds. I'm wearing a Wonder Woman costume on my picture.
Oh, Shitty Leeds wants to know if you want his phone number. I think we'll sort that. It's just been like Tinder on the radio tonight, hasn't it? Really, in here.
I swiped left as soon as he said he was from Leeds.
I think Shitty Leeds got more information about you than you got about him. So well played, Shitty Leeds. Well played, my friend. You've been able to remain anonymous. And played a good game and got a lot of great information out there. Right, well, we're just about at the end of the show. We've got a couple of minutes left. We're going to play out with a record. I'm just going to give Webby a final word and say what you want, mate.
Well, Lindsay's whispering here. Can she pick a song?
Can I pick a song?
Oh, well, you could do if I've got it on my thing now. You may be able to, but you're probably going to have to talk shit when I transfer it. What song do you want?
Have you got the Dillinger Escape Plan?
Who?
The Dillinger Escape Plan.
The Dillinger Escape Plan.
Slipknot.
Slipknot.
Killswitch Engage.
Right, okay, I'll just go in with music. I might have it, I don't know. I used to be a DJ, you see, so I've got loads and loads of music, but I ain't got out from last 4 years, because I packed in 2013, and why the fuck would you want to fucking get that, the shit that fucking... Anyway,
as you were saying, for me, for tonight, for Lindsay's come round, who's, I've known her all this time, and she's a local girl that's doing good, working hard at it, not looking for plaudits or anything like that, down to earth, and she's like a model to show people that one person can make some difference, especially when you get other people who want to do that as well. It's not just about learning stuff, it's about doing some action and helping people.
Planting the seed.
Planting seeds, I do it every day.
I've not got that.
I've got some record. Heavy metal on then. Anything heavy?
Well, I tell you what, I've got a great song to finich off with that I know you're going to love. Okay, I know you'll love this. It's not particularly heavy, but it's a good song. You'll love it. I promise you.
Who is it?
I'm not going to tell you. You're going to have to wait and listen, are you? Like everybody else.
I ain't bossy. Fucking hell.
I know. Well, fucking hell. It's my show. I can be bossy, can't I?
She's not marrying you, Linz.
Oh, I'm going to say Shitty Leeds. I'm going to go home and cry.
Oh, no.
Go home and cry.
Oh, well. Well, listen, it's been a great show. Thanks very much to Paul for co-hosting with me. I think this is probably going to be a regular thing on Mondays. We're going to be back tomorrow night. I haven't got all lined up at the moment, but I will get something lined up. I promise you there will be a show, even if it's just me, Paul and Andy talking out of his arse, as if Andy's available, which I don't know whether he's going to be or not, but there will be a show on tomorrow night. You can guarantee it. We'll definitely be here, unless, of course, one of us is dead, in which case there'll probably be a tribute show on with all the best bits. But, because nobody can be asked to edit all that shit out and get the best bits of different people, they'll probably note on if we're dead, if one of us is dead. So thanks for listening this evening, and what a great uplifting show it's been. I don't think we've ever spoken about some of the subjects that we spoke about tonight before, but I'm really glad we did, and I hope everybody enjoyed it. And I know there's been a great response in the chat room. It's been on fire tonight. So thank you,
I'm
Lindsey.
sorry if I offended anybody. I'm not that crude, really. It's just that when I go on radio, I always have to hold back. So when Webby said you don't need to hold back, I've just got a bit crazy.
Yeah, no. Listen, it was great. We enjoyed it. Everybody enjoyed it. So we'll see you tomorrow night from 7. Me and, we don't know. Maybe me and Webby, maybe me and Andy, maybe me, Andy and Webby. It may be me, Andy and Webby and a guest. It may be me and Webby and a guest. It may be me and Andy and a guest. It may be just me, or it may be anything else. From me and Colin.
Who's on up next show again? I'm being a prick. Carry on.
So yeah. What a brilliant show. Thanks very much, guys. Thanks everybody for listening.
Guys, thank you.
We'll be talking Rush. Listen, don't let Russia get you in bed tonight. When you're in bed, check under your bed. Make sure Russia's not there. See you later. Sleep tight.